Why has the head of the Roman Catholic Church in the Holy Land expressed grave concerns about the deteriorating situation for Christians in the birthplace of Christianity under Benjamin Netanyahu's far-right government? In a recent interview, Vatican-appointed Latin Patriarch Pierbattista Pizzaballa sounded the alarm, highlighting a concerning trend of escalating attacks on the region's 2,000-year-old Christian community. Pizzaballa's warning sheds light on a troubling reality where the most right-wing government in Israel's history appears to be empowering extremists, resulting in increased harassment of clergy and vandalism of religious property at an alarming rate. What factors have contributed to this heightened hostility towards Christians in the Holy Land, and what implications does it hold for the future of religious tolerance and coexistence in the region? The surge in anti-Christian incidents in the Holy Land coincides with an increase in activities by the Israeli settler movement, seemingly emboldened by supporters within the government. This surge marks a concerning trend, with attacks escalating in frequency and severity, according to Pierbattista Pizzaballa's remarks to the Associated Press, AP. Perpetrators of these attacks appear to feel protected and immune, benefiting from what they perceive as a cultural and political environment that either condones or tolerates actions against Christians. This alarming development highlights the intersection of political dynamics and religious tensions in the region, with the settler movement leveraging its political influence to advance its agenda, potentially endangering the safety of the Christian community. The discrepancy between Israel's proclaimed dedication to freedom of worship and the reality faced by Christians in the Holy Land raises questions about the implementation of this fundamental right. Despite Israel's emphasis on religious freedom and its strong relationships with various churches, both domestically and internationally, Pizzaballa's observations suggest a disconnect between rhetoric and action. The future evolution of this trend and the measures taken to address underlying issues and ensure the protection of religious minorities in the Holy Land remain uncertain. Tanya Berg-Rafaeli, the director of the World Religions Department at the Israeli Foreign Ministry, asserts Israel's enduring commitment to freedom of religion, emphasizing that it applies universally to all faiths and minority groups, granting them unrestricted access to their respective holy sites. However, the disconnect between this assertion and the reported increase in attacks against Christians challenges the effectiveness of these commitments in practice. How can Israel bridge this gap between its professed dedication to religious freedom and the reality faced by minority communities, particularly Christians, who continue to experience violence and discrimination within its borders? This discrepancy underscores the complexity of religious dynamics within Israel and the broader Middle East, highlighting the need for greater scrutiny and accountability in ensuring the protection and promotion of religious freedoms for all communities. As such, addressing Pizzaballa's concerns and reconciling them with Israel's stated principles becomes imperative not only for upholding human rights, but also for fostering genuine religious coexistence and harmony in the region. Christians residing in the Holy Land express a pervasive sentiment that authorities fail to adequately safeguard their religious sites against targeted attacks, intensifying their feelings of vulnerability and marginalization. This sentiment has been exacerbated by recent events, including an Israeli police raid on the revered Al-Aqsa Mosque compound, which ignited widespread outrage among Muslims and subsequent regional confrontations. These incidents have further heightened tensions in an already volatile environment, exacerbating interfaith animosities and exacerbating feelings of insecurity among minority Christian communities. The Old City, a historic and densely populated area, serves as a microcosm of these tensions. Annexed by the Israeli government in 1967, it has been a focal point of religious and political contention, with its narrow streets and ancient landmarks serving as a crucible of intersecting identities and interests. Amidst the complex geopolitical landscape, minority Christian populations find themselves particularly vulnerable, often caught in the crossfire of larger conflicts and marginalized in discussions of religious rights and protections. The long-standing hostility towards Christians in this area underscores the deeply entrenched nature of religious tensions and underscores the challenges inherent in fostering genuine religious coexistence. As such, the failure of authorities to effectively safeguard Christian sites from targeted attacks not only perpetuates feelings of insecurity and marginalization, but also calls into question the broader commitment to religious freedom and tolerance in the region. Addressing these issues requires a multifaceted approach, that prioritizes dialogue, cooperation, and concerted efforts to protect the rights and dignity of all religious communities in the Holy Land. How may the appointments of settler leaders like Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir in key positions within Netanyahu's far-right government impact the already volatile religious tensions in the Holy Land? The inclusion of settler leaders in key positions within Netanyahu's far-right government, such as Bezalel Smotrich as finance minister and Itamar Ben-Gvir as national security minister, underscores a significant shift in political dynamics within Israel. Both Smotrich and Ben-Gvir have histories deeply intertwined with the settler movement, with Ben-Gvir even having criminal convictions dating back to 2007 for inciting anti-Arab racism and supporting a Jewish militant group. Their ascent to influential positions within the government has emboldened Israeli settlers who seek to solidify Jewish control over the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem. Church leaders are concerned about the increasing influence of certain groups aiming to strengthen Jewish control at East Jerusalem and the West Bank, seeing it as a threat to the Christian presence in the Holy City. They are worried about government initiatives, like establishing a national park on the Mount of Olives, which they believe encroach upon historically important Christian sites. This anxiety is heightened by the Palestinian desire for East Jerusalem to be their future state's capital. Father Don Binder from St. George's Anglican Cathedral in Jerusalem echoes these concerns, pointing out a perceived effort by right-wing factions to Judaize the Old City and its surroundings. He emphasizes the role of churches as symbols of resistance against attempts to alter the demographic and religious makeup of the region. This convergence of political, religious, and territorial dynamics underscores the complexity of the situation in the Holy Land and the challenges faced by minority communities, including Christians. The growing influence of settler leaders within the Israeli government represents a significant shift in policy direction, with potential ramifications for the future of religious pluralism and coexistence in the region. As tensions continue to escalate, the role of church leaders and international stakeholders in advocating for the rights and protection of minority communities becomes increasingly crucial. Amidst the labyrinthine alleys of Jerusalem, where the echoes of centuries past mingle with the present, lies a poignant question. Can the dwindling Christian community, once vibrant with faith, find solace and security amidst the escalating political, religious, and territorial tensions gripping the Holy Land? In the winding streets of Jerusalem, where history whispers through ancient stones, a community once vibrant with faith now stands at a crossroads. Once numbering 27,000 strong, the Christian population in this holy city has dwindled to a mere 15,000. A stark decline fueled by the hardships that follow the tumultuous aftermath of the 1967 war. The echoes of prosperity have faded, replaced by the somber reality of emigration and uncertainty. As the world turned its gaze to a new year, 2024 unfurled its shadows over the Christian community in Jerusalem, heralding what some feared to be the darkest chapter in a decade. A voice from the Jerusalem Interchurch Center paints a sobering picture of the challenges ahead. Physical assaults and harassment of clergy, once whispered in hushed tones, now threaten to tear through the fabric of faith with impunity. Behind closed doors, the center grapples with the grim truth that many of these atrocities go unreported. Shadows cast upon the sacred sanctuaries that once offered solace and sanctuary. See, from the corridors of power to the humble abodes of believers, the specter of vandalism looms large, a menacing reminder of a community under siege. With the ink barely dry on the calendar, the center has already chronicled at least 7 serious cases of church property desecration from January to mid-March, a chilling escalation from the mere 6 incidents recorded throughout the entirety of the preceding year. Church leaders, their voices heavy with concern, point accusing fingers at Israeli extremists, fearing that the flames of hatred may soon consume all that remains of their cherished heritage. In the shadow of the old city walls, where prayers once soared heavenward, a sense of foreboding hangs heavy in the air. As the Christian community braces itself for what lies ahead, the timeless question lingers. Will the dawn bring hope or herald further despair? This escalation will bring more and more violence, Pizzaballa said. It will create a situation that will be very difficult to correct. Against the backdrop of Jerusalem's sacred stones, an act of sacrilege shattered the serenity of the Church of the Flagellation. A religious American Jew, driven by fervor or fury, tore a 10-foot rendering of Christ from its pedestal and unleashed a storm of destruction upon the symbol of another faith. As the echoes of his shouts reverberated through the hallowed halls, a chilling question hung in the air. In a city where fates intertwine like threads in a tapestry, where does one draw the line between reverence and rivalry?